we also get you some news from back home. The stage is set for one of the most keenly watched political contests of this year, the vice presidential elections. The post may be largely ceremonial, but the battle this time is anything but. It's not just about electing the next occupant of the Rajya Sabha chair. It's a high-stakes clash of ideologies, where alliances are being tested and loyalties are under scrutiny. With the NDA and the opposition blocs fielding contrasting candidates, the election is shaping up as a reflection of the wider political divide. But beyond the numbers on paper lies a more unpredictable element: cross-voting. Will party lines blur as far as this secret ballot that was held earlier today is concerned? The total strength of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha stands at 781, with BRS, BJD, Akali Dal and Waris Pathan abstaining from the entire election process. The halfway mark became 384. The NDA has 426 numbers, with YSRCP believed to be voting in favour of them. The total stands at 437. So they're absolutely comfortable. The India bloc, on the other hand, 306 seats, adding AAP's tally to the mix. They enjoyed the support of 318 parliamentarians. And there are 12 that we learnt were on the fence. We don't quite know exactly which way they have voted. But remember, the counting has begun and the results will be out maybe in an hour or so's time. And we're keeping you first abreast with that. The NDA, in fact, is already preparing for victory. Counting underway, it will continue till about 8 p.m. But MPs will be assembling at Prahlad Joshi's residence, where celebratory preparations have already been made, because, as I said, the numbers are not in doubt. It's only about whether any cross-voting helps any side or not. And Prime Minister will be at Prahlad Joshi's residence later this evening for the results and to congratulate the new Vice President. Will cross-voting be a factor? Our guests are joining us to decode what we witnessed both during the campaigning for this vice presidential election and also through the voting today.
It is going to be a big victory for the Indian nationalism.
I am more than hopeful that I am going to win this election.
Never been a tough thing. Always DMK takes the right choice, and this time also it has taken up the right choice.
हार गए ऐसे लोग, प्रजातंत्र के ऊपर विश्वास नहीं है, लोग जनता के ऊपर विश्वास नहीं है, जनता का समर्थन नहीं है, ऐसे लोग बात करने का विषय है।
आइडियोलॉजी की लड़ाई है, क्योंकि आपके पास नंबर्स हैं।
आपको कैसे पता?
अब अगर आप आंकड़े देखें,
नहीं, आपको कैसे पता?
अगर आप आंकड़े देखें,
नहीं, आपके तो ठीक है, लेकिन ये वोट तो अंतर आत्मा के उस पर पड़ता है।
Joining us now, Rajat Sethi and Akhil Swami, political analysts with us. Also, CNN News 18's Aman Sharma and Pallavi Ghosh joining us. They've been tracking this election very closely. Aman, let me come to you first. The fact that YSRCP voted in favour of the NDA choice, do you think that's really mainly the big headline as far as party alliances that we've discussed so much is concerned?
Well, I think so, Shivani. I think the YSRCP voting for the NDA is the big story of the vice president election. The second big story would be when the final numbers come in and we discover if there has been cross-voting also towards the NDA side. So far, both the camps are claiming that their entire camp has voted. Only 13 MPs have abstained from voting as expected. 4 from the BRS, 7 from the BJD, 1 from the Akali Dal and 1 independent. But I think the YSRCP voting in the favour of the NDA means that all 36 MPs from Andhra Pradesh have voted for the NDA candidate. This is the big thing. The YSRCP's 11 MPs, the Congress was clearly hoping that, they will come towards the INDI camp. But the YSRCP making it very, very clear that they had promised to the NDA even before the opposition candidate was announced that they will back the NDA. They believe it should be unanimous choice. They also believe voting should happen, and that is why they are not abstaining. Congress launching this big attack on the YSRCP earlier today morning, saying that Jagan Mohan Reddy has done a betrayal of the entire, of the entire country. Him by voting for the NDA, he's scared of the CBI. To which a senior Rajya Sabha MP of the YSRCP has told us very clearly that these CBI cases on Jagan Mohan Reddy were in fact foisted during the Congress rule. Jagan Mohan Reddy is not a spineless person, and he will fight these cases as he has been fighting them for the last 14 years. But they believe that they are voting in national interests, and that is why they're voting for the NDA.
Well, battle of ideologies, national interest, inner conscious, soul of the country. A lot of nice, lofty terms have been thrown around as far as this election is concerned. But Pallavi, taking from what Aman has just said, given that the YSRCP did not change their vote and voted in favor of the NDA choice, how happy is the opposition with how this election panned out?
Well, I mean, I saw a tweet which was put out by Jairam Ramesh, and where he said that all 317 of our MPs have voted for our own candidates, so clearly are patting them on the back. Look, whatever one may say, but it's not a surprise element for anyone if YSRCP or the BJD or the BRS or even Akali Dal decides to abstain. They all have their own reasons. Of course, as far as YSR is concerned, I think the Congress's line is very, very clear. He can never be a friend. He's always an adversary. And it was one of the most bitter elections that they contested, because mind you, these are the states where the Congress party is very much sees itself as a contender and challenger. So they're not going to be friendly with, say, a Jagan Mohan Reddy in Andhra Pradesh, or with a BRS in Telangana, or even with the Shiromani Akali Dal in Punjab, because what is common is in all these three states, or even the BJD in Orissa, in all of these four states, they are seeing themselves as a challenger and a contender, and in many of them states it's a two-way battle, so they can never be seen by the side of them, and that explains the kind of bitterness or the kind of criticism which is coming in, particularly from the Congress party. But if you're going to ask me about how the mood is within the India bloc, well, they are pretty gung-ho about it. We heard what Akhilesh Yadav had to tell me earlier today, that it is not about ankre, it's not about the numbers. Aapko kaise pata ki hamare paas nahi hai. The point is that they have pitched it as a battle for ideology, something to protect the constitution, something to protect the democracy. So in a defeat also, they're going to see a sense of win. And look at the responses which are coming in from the Congress leaders, that all those who did not vote for Mr. Sudershan Reddy actually voted for a regime. They voted for a candidate who's, one, going to be not non-partisan, and second, who himself has been divisive in nature. He represents an ideology which is backed by an ideology which is divisive and anti-constitutional. So even in that defeat, I think the India bloc is going to position itself as a win, and a win of ideology.
Well, the numbers have to be in their favor, Rajat, for them to claim any moral victory, isn't it? They've claimed so as far as 2024 election results are concerned, but there was an uptick in the numbers. But if there is no numbers and instead there is cross-voting on the other side, then surely this will be a moral defeat, what has been projected as a battle of ideologies.
The state of affairs of the India alliance is too clever by half. Their entire choice of having Justice Reddy as their candidate was so that they can let cat among the pigeons and split the Telugu votes and possibly get all the Telugu votes. They started off with the defeat in the Telangana land itself. In Andhra Pradesh itself, the entirety of members of parliament have gone into one direction, which is against Justice Reddy. So, I mean, this is how ill-prepared Congress is when it comes to, either making a political point or even going out and putting up a fight in order to win an election. So the entire calculation, the amount of effort that is put in, your leader of opposition is out of country just a couple of days before the actual polling is to happen. And then even during that exercise, has there been a genuine appeal to fellow members of the India Alliance? I don't see that. I did not see him reaching out to, say, Uddhav Thackeray, not just over a phone call, but physically going out and making that outreach and trying to massage their egos and ensure that they all come on board. And right now, I think the biggest story that we will hear, we might not come to know, but it will be from Maharashtra. So many members of parliament might just switch sides during the polling and might cross vote, keeping that broader conscience in mind and trying to go ahead and cross vote. My problem is, in the run-up to this election, Mallikarjun Kharge ji and Pawan Khera and other spokespersons of the Congress party consistently said that Prime Minister Modi barely has 5-6 months left, and he's going to, either the government will fall or he'll resign. Now, when you're making such broad claims, You had one opportunity to actually, go out and prove your point that yes, there are internal issues within the NDA, and you missed that bus entirely. Now, who is going to trust your broad claims when you come out on television and say that 5-6 mahine ki baat hai? It doesn't cut ice like this.
Okay.
You need to be seen to be fighting and clearly winning certain battles before you go out and make such tall claims as to Prime Minister leaving his chair.
Yeah, some believe this could have been an opportunity for the opposition to kind of show some proof that there is some problem within the NDA. Whether they managed to do so or not remains to be seen. It doesn't look so on the face of it. But Akhil Swami, the criticism that is coming in, as Rajat Sethi also espoused, is that even before this battle was fought, like today when the voting took place, the India bloc kind of lost the battle by not being able to convince some of the parties who should have been on the fence, either abstained or voted in their favor, YSRCP being one of those examples. For them to be voting with the BJP or the NDA is a first of its sorts. So did the India bloc lose the plot even before the voting began?
Shivani, all of you are counting number of parliaments on that side or this side. See, I am more concerned as to whether these member of parliaments who are voting today are genuinely elected and they have been elected by vote chori. See, after the allegations made by Rahul Gandhi, the Chunav Ayog and the Election Commission should have clarified constituency-wise and clarified whether rigging was made and the electoral rolls were manipulated. Number one.
So they have
Number
clarified. Akhil Swami, I don't know what your point is, because the Election Commission has already clarified saying the elections are free and fair. They have obviously rejected every charge of vote chori.
See, Shivani, I am more concerned that Sri Lanka, we saw this happening 2 years back. We saw in Bangladesh same thing happening, and the president of Sri Lanka and the prime minister of Bangladesh fleeing the country. Today we are seeing in Nepal, the youngsters are ousting the president and prime minister of Nepal. I pray to God that should not happen in India, because dictatorial attitude and not giving jobs to youth, whatever number of parliaments you may have, the ministers in Nepal are beaten ruthlessly. I don't want that to happen in India.
The fact that you're drawing this analogy, Akhil Swami, the very fact that you're bringing this in this debate and you're drawing the analogy suggests exactly the opposite. Because India bloc leaders have very openly talked about street wars in India. They very openly talked about the fact that the public will take to the streets and beat the leaders.
Shivani, I'm not advocating that. What I'm saying is that Prime Minister should have given at least 10,000 crores each to Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand and Kashmir. He has not yet visited the Prime Minister Relief Fund. I do not know.
I'm not sure what that has to do with this debate that we're having. We're discussing the Vice President's election.
And the ruling party is inviting anarchy
No,
in the
one
country.
second. Mr. Swami, my question to you is this. My question to you...
Farmers should be given ASP.
One second. Sir, all of those are electoral issues. All of those are electoral issues that deserve their own place. I'm not sure they played a role as far as the vice presidential elections are concerned. But if, let's say, Bihar was such a big issue, why didn't Rajat Sethi, the India bloc, choose a candidate from Bihar then?
Precisely.
They should have chosen a candidate from Bihar saying he's our face of the agitation against the electoral rolls.
Or they could have gone ahead and said that these are Chori MPs. Your name is not Rajat, so please pause.
Yes, Rajat, very quickly, then I'll come back to you, sir. Yes.
Simple point here is, if they wanted to prove a point, they had 2 or 3 opportunities in the past. When public will hit the street, only when, there is undeniable evidences around vote chori, which Mr. Rahul Gandhi has not presented till date. In fact, the last interaction that happened was when the Election Commission said, come in, file an affidavit, sign on it and file an affidavit, and he ran away. That is what Indian people have seen so far. Okay, now coming to this election, why did, if these members of parliament are Chori ke MPs, why did they not go out and Congress party boycott this elections? Boycott karna chahiye tha, ghar pe baiठte. Why come in over there and waste everybody's time? And Mallikarjun Kharge, with all his joy, he's walking over and trying and vote. Who is he fooling? Does he feel that he's trying to hold Gadkari ji's hand and Gadkari ji himself is a Chori ka MP?
No, so this vote chori, I don't want to combine issues here, because this whole vote chori allegation and electoral
when you run out of ideas. But let me tell you, Akhil ji is absolutely right. After this event is over, you will see Congress party MPs coming out and talking exactly this language. So what Akhilji is saying is actually the moot line that is going to be carried forward by the India Alliance members after they lose this election. Because one way or the other, they have to delegitimize the whole thing. Otherwise, how will they go and face Bihar voters?
The only way.
They keep losing elections.
The only way that doesn't happen is if they get 1 or 2 cross votes on their side. If the numbers increase even by 1 or 2, then it's a legitimate election.
No, you cannot count that. No, see,
then it's a legitimate election. By how and who cross voted is a separate issue. You can't do that. But I want to quickly bring in Pallavi and Aman also. Pallavi, this whole choice of the candidate itself, as we are discussing now, also has been debated ad nauseum very quickly. Is there any feeling within the India bloc that maybe they could have thrown a better surprise in terms of the choice of the candidate?
No, I think they are absolutely convinced that Mr. Sudershan Reddy is the right choice, and even as we speak, he's of course gone across to meet the Congress President, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge. Usually the India bloc has been very divided, Shivani, whenever it comes to taking a decision or making a decision rather. But in this case, there was a complete sense of unanimity. Now he was, if you remember, ticks the right boxes according to all the India bloc leaders. Yes, there were different points of view. Many within the India bloc felt that perhaps we should choose someone from Tamil Nadu and so on and so forth. But over here, the reason why they felt Mr. Reddy ticks the right boxes is one, he was very much on that OBC committee or the census committee, caste census committee of Telangana, and that is where they felt that he is good that way. He's also been a former jurist on many landmark, according to them, constitutional civil liberties cases. Right. So they felt that this was the best calling card of Mr. Sudershan Reddy when it comes to countering the NDA and accuse them of being anti-constitution.
Yes, and what is the big theme for the opposition, Aman, is OBC reservation. It's youth, for example, it's vote chori, focus a lot on Bihar and these things. And many feel that maybe if that was what the focus needed to be, the candidate should have reflected that choice. Because yes, these elections are for the VP and ceremonial, and they're not going to really make a difference in terms of electoral campaigning, but it's the messaging, isn't it?
Well, I think the India bloc missed a trick here. As you correctly say, I think they should have gone for a candidate from the heartland, maybe from Bihar, with the state going to polls next, because going for Mr. Reddy, who belongs to undivided Andhra Pradesh, who was born there, you have not been able to get even the YSRCP on board. You've not been able to get the BRS to vote for you. BRS has also, abstained from voting. So what did you really gain? The Telugu pride, which I think the opposition also had an idea about, has, I think, failed here. On the other hand, look at the NDA bloc. Getting a Tamilian in him contesting for as your NDA nominee, Mr. Radhakrishnan, you have put the DMK in a spot. Today I spoke to Mr. Thamba Reddy of the AIDMK, and he was very clear that, the DMK is against Tamils because you are out to defeat a Tamil candidate in these elections. Somebody who won from Coimbatore twice, the only BJP candidate who won twice from Coimbatore. So when Coimbatore could vote for him, why is the DMK opposing him? This may be a factor for the NDA in upcoming Tamil Nadu elections as well.
The numbers are awaited. Akhil Swami, I have 30 seconds, sir. If the numbers are convincingly in the favor of the NDA candidate, including cross-voting that many are suspecting would happen, will the opposition delegitimize these elections, or do you think that is not something that the India bloc should do?
See, student agitation has started in Bihar. I request to all students of Bihar and of the country not to follow the Nepal line and the Bangladesh-Sri Lanka line. Be peaceful. This is our country. But I also request the Prime Minister of India to give jobs to the youth and MSP to the farmers, not to be ruthless and dictatorial. Otherwise, I don't want my country, my motherland to suffer because of the dictatorship that is we are seeing for the last 20 years.
All right. We'll have that discussion separately, and I will look forward to having you on that. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. The results will be out in an hour or so. Stay with CNN News 18. Thanks a lot for watching Plain Speak, presented to you from the CNN News 18 Primetime Studio by Schneider Electric Smart Home Solutions. Thanks a lot for watching.